Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Lakers want to sign a big center, but getting a young, athletic, big guy who is already considered by NBA analysts to be one of the best defenders would be the best signing of the year. The giant Donovan Clingan can provide all of that to the Lakers, but would they be able to sign him? Yes, because the Portland Trail Blazers need a point guard and have strong interest in Austin Reaves. But letting the fan favorite go? If Austin Reaves opts out of the contract extension in July, he will be a free agent in 2016 and will leave the Lakers for free. So trading him for a big, young center with a big future would be a good deal for the Lakers. A young 7'1" center is making waves in the NBA and is of interest to the Lakers. Donovan Clingan's defensive potential and threat are exactly what the Lakers need to make their roster strong enough to win a championship. Clingan's competitiveness and commitment to defense show how useful he would be to the Lakers, but how will executive Rob Pelinka go about signing him? Portland would be happy to trade for Austin Reaves, but the Lakers don't want to give up Reaves. Pelinka can offer Dalton Netsch, Jared Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes, and a first-round pick, but Portland is unlikely to accept. So if the Lakers really want to sign the 7'1" young standout, they'll have to give up Austin Reaves. It would be a bold move because Austin Reaves is already a solid point guard and Donovan Clingan is just starting to make a name for himself and is being told by several NBA analysts that he will be the best defender and center in no time due to his commitment, work ethic, humility, and dedication. Is it feasible for the Lakers to make this trade? Let's wait and see what manager Rob can do to bring in a great center. However, Portland views Clingan, its 2024 lottery pick, as a center. The 7'1" center's air protection and rebounding, 7.4 points, 5.8 rebounds in limited minutes from 2024 to 25, signal a bright future, leaving the Trailblazers reluctant to trade. The Los Angeles Lakers are ready to make changes to their roster this summer to maximize LeBron James' twilight years and Luka Doncic's prime. NBA scouts and execs reveal Lakers' best trade assets for 2025 offseason. After acquiring Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks in February, the Los Angeles Lakers were projected to compete for the championship this year. However, despite having Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reaves, the Lakers lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round of the playoffs in 5 games under first-year head coach J.J. Redick. Los Angeles needs a center alongside Doncic, James, and Reaves. Redick played without a center in the second half of Game 4 and all of Game 5 against the Timberwolves. Lakers president of basketball operations Rob Pelinka told local reporters at his end-of-the-season press conference that he will attempt to acquire a center this offseason. Pelinka will have to part ways with players and draft picks to acquire a big man. According to Dan Woik of the Los Angeles Times, NBA scouts and execs have identified the Lakers' best trade assets. According to rival scouts and executives, the Lakers' best assets, minus Reaves, are their 2031 first-round pick, second-year wing Dalton Knecht and a bunch of expiring contracts, Woik wrote. Some combination of them would be a must in any deal the team would make for a center. Pelinka thought he acquired the perfect center for Doncic and James when he traded Knecht, Cam Reddish and a future first-round pick to the Charlotte Hornets for Mark Williams. However, the trade was rescinded after Williams failed his physical with the Lakers. Woik is reporting that the Lakers are not interested in trading Reaves unless the deal nets them a top-tier big. It appears Pelinka will have to use Knecht, his 2031 first-round pick and expiring contracts to land a center for Doncic and James this summer. Lakers would reportedly only move Austin Reaves for one reason. The Los Angeles Lakers are analyzing their roster to figure out the best way to contend for a title. They thought they would get deeper than the first round this year, so that exit has them making tough decisions. Minnesota suffocated the Lakers on offense and diced them up on defense. It's clear that the current roster is not good enough to win a title, which is still their goal. Austin Reaves has been floated around as a trade candidate in order to improve the roster. Since the Lakers don't have much cap space, trades are the only way they will be able to get better. While other teams are clearly interested in making a move for Reeves, it doesn't seem like the Lakers are interested in parting ways with him. In fact, it looks like the Lakers would only move Reeves under one condition. According to Dan Woik of the Los Angeles Times, they would only consider moving Reeves if they are able to get a top-tier big in return. That severely limits the market for him when it comes to other teams pursuing him. It's very clear that the Lakers' biggest need is a good center, so it makes sense why they would only move him in return for one. The question becomes whether a team would be looking to move a top-tier big in exchange for Reeves. Reeves is a really good offensive player, but he is a defensive liability. Los Angeles needs a center that can protect the rim and be competent on offense. The defense needs more help than offense, so a rim runner who can protect the rim could be what they are after. Players like Nick Claxton, Clint Capella, and Walker Kessler could be on their radar. Still, the Lakers won't be actively shopping Reeves. Los Angeles will only trade Reeves if they are approached with a trade that makes sense for them. There's still a very good chance that Reeves is with the Lakers next season. Reeves averaged 20.2 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 5.8 assists over the course of the regular season. Lakers' J.J. Redick preaches patience despite early playoff exit. Despite the expectations laid on his team after a trade that brought Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers in February, head coach J.J. Redick insisted that star players take time to settle after his team's first-round loss in the NBA playoffs to the Minnesota Timberwolves. These things take time, particularly with the star players, Lakers coach J.J. Redick said to The Athletic at his exit interview 2 weeks ago. There's a reason in modern NBA history, go back the last 30, 40 years, there's been a handful or less than a handful of all-star players traded in season that led directly to a championship. I think there's value in repetition. And frankly, we didn't get a ton of repetition, and that's the nature of making an in-season trade. A strong 18-12 split after the All-Star game powered the 17-time champions from 5th to 3rd place in a highly competitive Western Conference, but they fell in the playoffs in just 5 games. The Lakers have clearly missed a big man since dealing Anthony Davis to the Mavs, as was evident in Game 5 when Rudy Gobert took over with 27 points and 24 rebounds, his first 2020 game since moving to Minnesota. Lakers president of basketball operations and general manager Rob Pelinka noted that addressing this issue during the offseason was a priority for his club. We just didn't have the time after the Luka trade, Pelinka said. But now we do. That's the good news. Lakers' Austin Reeves decision might doom Giannis' dream once and for all. It's a rational commitment, but it also eliminates the Lakers from the Giannis sweepstakes. The odds of a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade have declined dramatically after Rob Pelinka effectively proclaimed that the Los Angeles Lakers will not trade Austin Reeves. It's a development that admittedly has merit, but also essentially removes Los Angeles from the Antetokounmpo sweepstakes. With Antetokounmpo's fate undecided and the Lakers a viable landing spot for the two-time MVP, one can't help but question if Pelinka's commitment to Reeves is a bit premature. Los Angeles will enter the 2025 offseason with limited resources as far as executing trades is concerned. There are appealing players and contracts who can be moved for situational upgrades, but acquiring a superstar would require the Lakers to include Reeves in an otherwise pedestrian offer. According to Jovan Buha of The Athletic, Pelinka plans to enter training camp with Doncic, James, and Reeves on the roster. I think when you get those 3 pillars, Doncic, James, and Reeves, in a training camp environment and you're starting to build an ethos around them, that's a great starting point, Pelinka said. And we didn't have that opportunity this year. But we will next year. In other words, Reeves will not be traded this summer, thus ruling Los Angeles out of a potential move for Antetokounmpo. Rob Pelinka declares Austin Reeves will be playing for Lakers in 2025-26. Crazier things have happened, but there's no logical way to construct an Antetokounmpo trade without including Reeves. Doncic isn't going anywhere and James is unlikely to be moved, let alone in a sign-and trade to a potentially rebuilding Bucks squad. Furthermore, the Lakers' assets are remarkably limited on the NBA draft front, with only a 2031 first-round draft pick and a trio of pick swaps at their disposal. Rival executives, meanwhile, will have the opportunity to offer Milwaukee a collection of assets that can kickstart its rebuild if Antetokounmpo formally requests a trade. They may also be able to offer a young talent who's comparable to Reeves in talent and potential. That speculatively includes the Oklahoma City Thunder with Jalen Williams and an abundance of first-round draft picks, and the Houston Rockets with their embarrassment of future riches. Without Reeves included in a trade offer, the best Los Angeles can do to match those offers is provide role players and a single draft pick. Dalton Knecht is promising, and Rui Hachimura is a valuable asset who plays up to his contract, but neither have shown enough to warrant being a centerpiece in an Antetokounmpo deal. This, of course, isn't to say that a package built around Reeves would have been enough to land Antetokounmpo, but it was the only realistic chance Los Angeles had. The silver lining is that Pelinka is right. Los Angeles went through the 2024-25 season trying to split a star's level of touches and responsibility between three perimeter players who are at their best with the ball in their hands, and they didn't have a training camp to develop chemistry. One simply can't help but note that committing to Reeves means that it's time for the Lakers to move on from any lingering dreams of acquiring Antetokounmpo in 2025. Lakers unlikely to move on from beloved young star, per insider. Laker fans can breathe a sigh of relief when it comes to Austin Reeves standing within the organization. After a subpar postseason and speculation over his future, a new report from the LA Times says the 26-year-old guard is safe, though not completely. Lakers unlikely to move on from beloved young star, per insider. Dan Woik, Reeves is not untradeable. A Thursday newsletter by Lakers beat writer Dan Woik put the rising rumors to rest. The Lakers still believe in Reeves and are unlikely to trade the undrafted phenom. 1. The Lakers and the most important people in the organization all love Reeves and his journey from undrafted free agent to a talent that people think is all-star caliber. And, at just $14 million next season, he'll be one of the most productive players in the league per dollar minus some superstars on the very early stages of their rookie deals. 2. He's not viewed as untradeable because almost no one in the NBA is untradeable. But if the Lakers are going to trade him for a center, they're going to want one that is foundationally important, a build-around type and not a fill-in toward the obvious need they have at center, and will need to address in other ways. If one of the best centers in the NBA were available, the conversations might be different, but at least now, during the first part of the offseason, that just isn't the case. The rumors came not long after Reeves posted averages of 16.2 points, .411/.319/.857 splits, 5.4 rebounds and 3.6 assists in LA's first-round loss to the Timberwolves. On May 11, Woik's colleague, Times columnist Bill Plaschke, admitted a painful truth that the Lakers should trade Reeves. Adding fuel to the fire, the Ringer's Bill Simmons even predicted LA would deal him. When Reeves gets traded this summer, and he will get traded, the stuff they, Lakers, get back for him is gonna make it seem worse that they, Mavericks, didn't get him in the trade, Simmons said. Lakers cannot afford another mistake with Reeves. In a crucial offseason for the Lakers, a phrase repeated ad nauseum but especially relevant now, they must do everything possible to ensure Reeves stays in the purple and gold. As Woik mentioned, he's still on a team-friendly contract and becomes eligible for a 4-year, $89.2 million extension later this summer, an absolute steal of a deal, just like he was when they first signed him. Reeves is coming off the best season of his career, 20.2 ppg, 4.5 rpg, 5.8 apg on 61% TS, a time in which he showcased excellent adaptability throughout the season. He became a primary ball handler once D'Angelo Russell was traded. And once the Lakers got Luka Doncic, Reeves steadied the offense with his scoring and playmaking. On the cusp of his prime at 26, he is the perfect complement for LeBron James and Doncic and the ideal bridge between the present and future. The front office has already learned what happens when you give up on young talent. They traded Ivica Zubac to their crosstown rival in 2019. He had the best season of his career for the Clippers and just completed a double-double playoff run, 17 ppg, 10 rpg. They let Alex Caruso walk in free agency 2 years later. He earned 2 all-defensive team selections with the Bulls and now comes off the bench for the league-leading Thunder. Simply put, it's imperative Reeves sticks around for a while. One bad series should not define him, and he has shown his value to the franchise time and again. The best way the Lakers can reward Reeves' loyalty is by putting pen to paper on an extension, and seeing that he grows into the all-star, and hopefully NBA champion, they know he can be.